Why did Dietrich Bonhoeffer think that bad politics could ruin our morals? Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a Christian thinker in the mid-20th century in Germany, and he is known to have opposed sort of Nazism and liberal theology to a certain degree. At one point in his life, he's accused of a plot to assassinate Hitler and is arrested. Eventually, he's put to death. During his time in prison, if memory, it must be during his time in prison, he writes these letters from prison. And he makes this really interesting point that for so long he had been living this sort of life as a Christian in this really vicious political world. And as he's working to defeat the Nazis, he's becoming more like them. He's having to be a little bit more dishonest to get away from things, to be just to live. He sort of has to lie, to tell fibs, to live a little bit like the enemy in order to have power over the enemy. And he writes this interesting line in one of his letters. He says, "We have been the silent witnesses of evil deeds. Many storms have gone over our heads. We have learnt the art of deception and of equivocal speech. Experience has made us suspicious of others and prevented us from being open and frank. Bitter conflicts have made us weary and even cynical. Are we still serviceable? It is not the genius that we shall need, not the cynic, not the misanthropist, not the adroit tactician, but honest, straightforward men. Will our spiritual resources prove adequate, and our candor with ourselves remorseless enough to enable us to find our way back again to simplicity and straightforwardness?" You see, here he's sort of thinking about what happens after Nazism. If to defeat the Nazis we became the Nazis, if to defeat the enemy we became like the enemy, to defeat liars we had to lie, what happens afterwards? Are we even able to be the kind of people we need to be to rebuild, to restructure, to lead, to be a sort of moral influence in the world? Or have we been so corrupted by habits of suspicion, habits of half-truths, habits of just the ease of doing what is wrong? Have we, by doing this, made ourselves unserviceable? It's a really important question, because I think for all of us, we think of whatever, real politics or some sort of category out there is in order to influence people, we have to kind of be like them a little bit. To get into politics, we have to use political language. We have to be a little bit dishonest. We have to hide ourselves. All these sorts of categories go through our mind. If you want to win, you've got to do it. But by winning in this political realm, will you have lost your soul in the process? And if you have lost your soul, are you able then to lead afterwards, to reconstruct? I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that Bonhoeffer was worried about it. And it's a warning that we should at least consider.